The internet is increasingly capable of turning fragments of information into fully formed narratives that feel like breaking news, even when they are not verified. One such example is the viral claim circulating in video form suggesting that Bishop T.D. Jakes, the well-known American pastor and author, had been arrested and was, quote, behind bars, end quote. In reality, there is no credible evidence, legal record, or official report supporting such a claim. Instead, what exists is a mix of speculation, edited video content, and sensational storytelling that merges real-life events with fabricated details. These types of narratives often spread because they combine familiar public figures with emotionally charged themes like scandal, conspiracy, and downfall. In this case, the story also pulls in unrelated controversies and online rumors to build a dramatic arc that feels believable at first glance. However, once separated from social media amplification, the claims collapse under basic verification standards. Still, the viral momentum of such content reveals how quickly perception can be shaped in the digital age, especially when viewers encounter repeated claims across multiple platforms without checking primary sources or official statements. Early life and the foundations of a public figure. T.D. Jakes is widely known for his role as a pastor, author, and filmmaker, but his early life story is often what gives context to his public image. Born in West Virginia in 1957, he grew up in a working-class environment shaped by strong family values and community ties. His early years were marked by personal challenges, including family health struggles and limited financial resources. These experiences are often highlighted in biographies and sermons as formative influences that shaped his resilience and communication style. From a young age, he reportedly showed interest in preaching and public speaking, even performing informal sermons as a child. Over time, he pursued ministry work more seriously, balancing education with early pastoral responsibilities. While his academic path included interruptions and non-traditional routes, he eventually earned advanced theological qualifications. These early experiences are frequently referenced in discussions about his later success, as they illustrate a trajectory built on persistence rather than institutional privilege. However, in viral online narratives, these background details are sometimes repurposed to create exaggerated rags-to-riches framing that feeds into larger dramatic storytelling rather than factual biography. The rise of a growing ministry and public influence. As his ministry developed, T.D. Jakes became increasingly recognized for his dynamic preaching style and ability to connect with large audiences. In the 1980s and 1990s, his congregation expanded significantly, eventually leading to the establishment of the Potter's House in Dallas, Texas. This church became one of the most prominent megachurches in the United States, drawing thousands of members and millions of viewers through televised and digital sermons. His rise was not only religious but also cultural, as he authored books, produced media content, and became a recognizable figure in broader entertainment and motivational speaking spaces. Over time, his influence extended into conferences, film production, and public speaking events that attracted diverse audiences beyond traditional churchgoers. This expansion of influence is often cited as a reason his name appears frequently in online discussions, including those unrelated to his actual work. When public figures reach this level of visibility, they often become symbolic targets in internet storytelling, where their real achievements are blended with speculation or fictionalized controversy to create engaging but misleading narratives. The Potter's House and the scale of modern megachurch culture. The Potter's House represents a broader trend in modern religious institutions, where churches function not only as places of worship, but also as large organizational networks. Under T.D. Jakes' leadership, the church grew into a major institution with extensive outreach programs, media production, and community initiatives. Services are often attended by thousands in person and streamed globally, making it a hybrid religious and media platform. This scale of visibility naturally places its leadership under public scrutiny, both positive and negative. Megachurches often attract attention due to their size, financial structure, and cultural influence, which can lead to public curiosity and, at times, suspicion or misinformation. In the digital era, that scrutiny is amplified by social media platforms, where clips from sermons or speeches are taken out of context and reshaped into narratives unrelated to their original meaning. As a result, leaders of such institutions often find themselves discussed in spaces far removed from their actual ministry work, sometimes becoming central figures in viral stories that blend fact, interpretation, and fiction. Public persona, media presence, and cultural reach. Beyond his pastoral role, T.D. Jakes has built a significant media presence through books, interviews, films, and speaking engagements. His work often focuses on themes of personal growth, faith, resilience, and emotional healing, which has helped him reach audiences beyond traditional church environments. He has appeared in mainstream media, collaborated with other public figures, and participated in cultural conversations about leadership and spirituality. This visibility has contributed to both his influence and the level of scrutiny he receives online. In digital spaces, public figures who cross between religious, entertainment, and motivational sectors often become subject to blended narratives that mix verified accomplishments with speculative or fictional elements. This overlap can lead audiences to encounter misleading content that appears credible because it includes real names, real events, and real organizations. Over time, such blending can distort public understanding, especially when algorithms prioritize engagement over accuracy. As a result, media presence becomes both a platform for influence and a channel through which misinformation can spread rapidly. How a Diddy-related narrative entered the conversation. A major factor in the viral story involving T.D. Jakes stems from his name being loosely connected online to broader celebrity legal controversies, particularly those involving Sean "Diddy" Combs. In some online discussions and speculative videos, brief mentions of social or professional associations were exaggerated into claims of deeper involvement in unrelated allegations. In reality, being referenced in civil filings or mentioned in public narratives does not equate to wrongdoing or legal accusation. However, internet culture often ignores these distinctions, especially when content creators focus on sensational framing. As a result, a complex legal situation involving one public figure became a backdrop for expanding rumors that included others with no direct legal connection. This pattern is common in viral misinformation cycles, where association is mistaken for implication. Once such narratives begin circulating, they are often repeated without verification, creating the illusion of credibility through volume rather than evidence. AI deepfakes and the manufacturing of false evidence. One of the most important developments behind modern misinformation is the rise of AI-generated media. In the case of the viral claims surrounding T.D. Jakes, some videos reportedly used manipulated or synthetic content to suggest scenarios that never occurred. Deepfake technology can now realistically alter faces, voices, and environments, making fabricated footage appear authentic to casual viewers. When combined with real clips taken out of context, these edits can create highly persuasive but entirely misleading narratives. Experts in digital forensics often warn that such content spreads faster than it can be debunked, especially on short-form video platforms. The issue is not only technological but also psychological, as viewers tend to trust visual evidence more than written correction. Once a fabricated image or video gains traction, it can be shared thousands of times before any clarification reaches the same audience. This creates a long-lasting distortion effect, where misinformation continues circulating even after being publicly disproven or disputed by credible sources. Responses, denials, and efforts to correct the record. As online rumors intensified, responses from representatives and public statements from T.D. Jakes himself emphasized denial of false claims and rejection of fabricated narratives. In general, such responses typically focus on clarifying facts rather than engaging with every piece of viral content, since responding to each rumor individually can amplify it further. Legal teams and representatives often address the broader issue of defamation and misinformation campaigns, particularly when content is monetized through platforms that reward engagement. In many cases, efforts also include identifying sources of misleading content and pursuing legal remedies where appropriate. However, correcting misinformation in the digital age is often an uneven process, as false narratives tend to spread more rapidly than corrections. Even when clarifications are issued, they may not reach the same audience that consumed the original viral content. This imbalance creates an ongoing challenge for public figures, who must manage both their real-world responsibilities and their digital reputation simultaneously. A health emergency that became part of the online story cycle. In late 2024, TD Jakes experienced a serious health incident during a public speaking event, which was widely reported and confirmed as a medical emergency. He later described undergoing urgent medical treatment and recovering after the incident. While this event was real and documented, it also became incorporated into broader online narratives that linked it to unrelated rumors and conspiracies. Some social media users speculated without evidence about causes or connections, demonstrating how real events can be repurposed into misinformation frameworks. Health-related incidents involving public figures often attract intense attention because they are emotionally impactful and visually dramatic when captured on video. In this case, the combination of a public collapse and existing rumors created fertile ground for speculative storytelling. However, verified accounts of the incident remain focused on medical facts and recovery, rather than any external controversies or fabricated links introduced by online speculation. Leadership transition and institutional continuity. Following his recovery period, TD Jakes announced a transition in leadership at the Potter's House, passing greater pastoral responsibility to successors within his family and leadership circle. This decision reflected long-term succession planning rather than sudden withdrawal or external pressure. Leadership transitions in large organizations, especially megachurches, are complex processes designed to ensure continuity of operations, community support, and institutional stability. In this case, the transition was framed as a planned generational shift rather than a crisis response. Such developments are often misinterpreted online as signs of scandal or instability, particularly when combined with unrelated rumors circulating on social media. However, organizational leadership changes are common in large institutions and are typically the result of strategic planning. Despite this, viral narratives sometimes reinterpret routine transitions as evidence supporting pre-existing conspiracy theories, even when no factual connection exists. How digital narratives distort public understanding. The broader story surrounding the viral claims about TD Jakes illustrates how modern digital ecosystems can distort reality. When real biographies, partial truths, AI-generated media, and unrelated legal cases are combined, they can produce narratives that feel convincing but lack factual grounding. Social platforms reward attention-grabbing content, which often incentivizes exaggeration over accuracy. As a result, public figures can become subjects of stories that evolve independently of verified information. This creates a gap between public perception and documented reality, where repetition replaces evidence. The case also highlights the importance of media literacy, especially in distinguishing between association and accusation, or between edited content and authentic documentation. Ultimately, the persistence of such narratives reflects less about the individuals targeted and more about the structure of online information itself, where speed and virality often outweigh verification. Conclusion and the reality behind the viral claims. At the center of the viral story is not a confirmed scandal or legal outcome, but a combination of misinformation, digital manipulation, and narrative exaggeration. While TD Jakes is a real public figure with a well-documented career in ministry and media, the claims suggesting arrest or criminal involvement are not supported by credible evidence. Instead, they belong to a broader pattern of internet-driven storytelling, where real names are inserted into sensational frameworks to generate engagement. The persistence of such content demonstrates how quickly false narratives can gain traction and how difficult they are to correct once widely circulated. In the end, the situation serves as a case study in the power and risk of digital media ecosystems, where perception can be shaped faster than facts can be verified, and where public figures can become symbols in stories that exist more in online imagination than in reality.